You ever wonder why that simple chat button inside your Facebook app suddenly became its own huge separate thing? Well, today we're going to unpack that story. We're talking about how Messenger went from just a little feature to a global giant, and it all started with one pretty controversial decision. Okay, let's take a trip back to 2014. You probably remember this. You opened up Facebook on your phone, to send a quick message, and poof, you couldn't. Instead, you get this pop-up pushing you to the App Store to download a whole new app. It was super jarring, right? And kind of annoying. It honestly felt like a feature you used every single day was suddenly being held for ransom.
I mean, on the surface, the change looked so simple. 1 minute, chat is just part of Facebook. The next, it's off in its own little world. But the strategy behind this split? Oh, it was anything but small. So let's dig into the why.
And yeah, that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why would a company that's all about connecting people intentionally throw up a wall between you and your messages? Well, the answer reveals this massive long-term vision that honestly changed the game for how we all talk to each other online. Okay, so to really get our heads around this split, we need to rewind the clock a bit. We got to look at what Messenger even was before it became this standalone beast. So way back in 2008, this whole thing kicked off as just Facebook chat. And look, it wasn't a big, fancy product. It was just a feature. It was simple, it was convenient, and let's be real, its only selling point was that, hey, all your friends were already there. So you used it. Now, the first standalone Messenger apps, they actually dropped back in 2011. But, and this is the key part, using them was totally optional. You had a choice for a few years. But then 2014 rolled around, and Facebook basically said, to get where we're going, we've got to make this choice for you. And that forced move, that was the moment everything changed. So what was the big goal here? What was the end game? Well, the split wasn't just about shuffling a feature around. No, this was about building a full-on communication empire, something totally separate from the good old Facebook newsfeed. See, by yanking Messenger out and making it its own app, the developers could move way faster. They weren't chained to the main Facebook app's slow release schedule anymore. This new freedom meant they could just pile on all these complex new features. We're talking video and voice calls, payments, a whole platform for business chatbots, the works. And believe me, the ambition was huge. I mean, take Messenger Rooms, which they launched in April 2020. That wasn't just some cute little feature. It was a direct shot right across the bow at Zoom, which had just exploded onto the scene. They were offering group calls for 50 people, no time limit. This move just perfectly shows the new mindset. Messenger wasn't just playing in the chat app sandbox anymore. It was coming for everyone. The app was basically turning into this hub for your entire digital life. You could chat with businesses, get customer support. For a while there, you could even order an Uber or a Lyft right from a chat. It was becoming less of a simple messaging app and more like a digital Swiss Army knife. So the big question, did this crazy strategy actually work? Oh, absolutely. Despite all that initial grumbling from users, by April 2017, the separate Messenger app had skyrocketed to over 1.2 billion monthly users. The gamble totally paid off. They'd built one of the biggest communication platforms on Earth. But this huge user base created a brand new challenge, or maybe a better word is an opportunity. When you have all these amazing features, no subscription fee, and over 1 billion people using your app, how do you make money? And that question, my friends, leads us straight to the hidden price tag on all that convenience. All right, so how did Facebook actually pay the bills for this giant new platform? Let's talk about the trade-offs. What we all gave up in exchange for all those cool new features. The number one answer? You guessed it, ads. After some test runs in places like Australia and Thailand, Facebook started rolling them out globally. And they put them right there in your inbox, sandwiched between chats with your friends and your family. And yeah, the reaction was, let's just say, not great. One writer for TechCrunch back in 2017 called the ads huge, intolerable, and irrelevant. And that really hits the nail on the head. These weren't tiny little banners, they were big, clunky, and they totally changed the personal vibe of your inbox. But it wasn't just about ads cluttering things up. With 1 billion plus people having their most private conversations on this thing, some really serious questions about privacy and security started bubbling up. Like, just how private are these chats, really? And this is where it gets really interesting. The Electronic Frontier Foundation put out the security scorecard, the same year as the big split, and Messenger got a score of just 2 out of 7. The big sticking point? It didn't have end-to-end encryption turned on by default,
which, in plain English, means that, yes, Facebook itself could technically read your messages.
So Facebook's answer to this, which came out in 2016, was a feature they called Secret Conversations. And to be fair, it offered super strong end-to-end encryption. The problem? It was an optional feature you had to actively turn on. Most people didn't even know it was there, which meant the huge majority of chats were still not protected by default.
And listen, this whole debate over encryption, it wasn't just theoretical. In 2018, things escalated. Big time. We're talking the secret court case involving the US government.
The Department of Justice actually tried to force Facebook to break its own encryption on messengers so the government could wiretap voice calls. Facebook fought back, and they won in court. But here's the kicker. While your privacy was safe that time, the actual details of that fight, that whole high-stakes legal battle, they're still completely sealed. We have no idea what went down.
So, after that whole journey, from a simple chat button to this massive, monetized, legally challenged global platform, where does that leave the app that's probably sitting on your phone right now?
Well, what started out as just a simple chat feature has totally transformed. Today, it's a standalone product, sure, but it's also a massive platform for businesses. And, maybe most importantly, it's a powerful engine for data and ads, tied deeply into Instagram and the entire Meta universe.
And you just can't deny its impact. For the whole decade from 2011 to 2019, Messenger was the #2 most downloaded mobile app in the world. The only thing that beat it? The main Facebook app. It completely cemented its spot in our daily lives.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, doesn't it? That forced download back in 2014, it wasn't just a pain in the neck. It was the exact moment a simple tool for talking to friends became a platform, one designed to be right at the center of your digital life, shaping what you do, what you buy, and how you connect. So it leaves us with one last question to think about. Is the app you use to chat with your family just a messaging service, or is it something much, much more?